Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
I'm here with Shelly. In your world, it's Tuesday for when this airs.
Okay.
What'd you say?
It scared me for a second.
I was like, yeah, I normally don't comment on the day. In the first episode, we hit on how we found each other. Somewhere soon after we met, one fine evening, you shared with me your story. It's a story we're not going to share here. You've allowed me to make the joke. It's along the lines of Dateline meets Snapped. So it's not a story that is easily told, nor it's one that is ongoing. And you and I also made the joke that once you live through Dateline, you don't want to watch Dateline.
That is so true.
So I was picking on Brian this morning. Sometimes I think he wants to punch me in the throat when I bust his balls, but I was picking on him this morning because last week I shared some very personal things, and I was very dissociated doing it. You know this. And there's an upside and there's a downside. As much as I want people to step on this path and face themselves and face the root of what they've gone through, there's a real consequence to me doing it, even though I'm called to do it. You and I give ourselves, say weekly, an opportunity to talk about the heavy stuff. We make it funny. We have both have pushed our brains to places that I think remarkable things have happened, and we acknowledge the antiquation of psychology, the antiquation of where we are in treating trauma and or abuse, and I think they're very different. I would say that you've had more trauma, I've had more abuse, although I look at your situation and I want mine over yours, you know what I mean? It's amazing what happens to people and our view on it as a result of what we've survived and what we think we can survive. So the first thinking experiment that I want to talk about, that we've already talked about, and you and I think I am very pro dissociation, both for men and women, and you basically brought up how many moms are dissociative and pair themselves with a dissociative narcissist. Now, that can be reversed. It's not about all women, but it's definitely where you and I are concerned we were dissociative moms, correct?
Yeah, I would agree to that. I mean, when I say dissociative moms, what I mean is maybe not all the time.
Right.
I can't speak on other moms. I could speak on me. It wasn't all the time. Times of high stress, it was higher than others. And it wasn't like I knew it at the time. It was,
right.
I just thought I was doing what this is what I need to do to get through. I really didn't realize how dissociative one can get when you are in throes of, whether it's a traumatic relationship, high levels of stress in the family, especially with how hard it is to have a family now. It seems that it's even more so all the time, just to get through the day.
Yeah, in my situation, I drank until I didn't. And that was what I would do towards the end of the day, just to get to a certain point where I could go to sleep and go to bed. I think that to the outside world, it looks like depression. What do you think about that one?
I think it can look like depression, but I also think it can look like high function, like a high functioning, always busy, got it all together, someone who's always on the go, that are just filling their life with things to keep no space and time for thought. I think it could be either one.
I think that's an excellent point. I grew up with depression weaponized. Do you know what I mean when I say that? People utilizing being depressed as an excuse for their behavior.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So I was often told I was depressed. And because I was on the spectrum, once I learned that, I understood that aspect of the spectrum where depression's concerned. And I still would argue it's not depression. I just think people on the spectrum process differently, and we're in our own heads a lot. But I found that dissociation never came up. Yet when I look back at videos, I was clearly dissociated. and even when I didn't having drinks at the end of the day was actually a reprieve from it. I actually could rationalize anything after a couple of drinks because that's what gave me the fortitude for the next day. Anything else you want to say before I hit you with a product of dissociation? What occurs?
Yeah, I didn't realize it until I was in my 30s, going through the traumatic event. I mean, and then looking back at my teenage years, and I think it easily is masked as depression. But I think there's all levels to dissociation. I don't think it's all sedation. In my case, I was the type of person in my 20s and 30s where I was the one who put it all in my body with constant movement, constant projects, constant working out.
Wow.
And that's how I would be able to function. I would not be able to sit with myself. I could be by myself, but I was busy. I didn't have time for my mind and to just really be, because it was too much. If I did not beat up my body enough in that day, being with my mind was way too much. And then once I was in my mid to late 20s, I started with smoking marijuana to bring my levels down at night so I can just be enjoyable in the evening and hang out and be able to just relax. And it brought me back into a state where in the beginning it would be like, okay, this is really helping my body. But then there would be a line where I could tell the medicinal part of it was not helping.
Yep.
It was just purely sedation.
Yep. Man, I am thinking of a thought experiment, and I don't want to go there now because I have 67 of them written down. I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of more trauma than abuse. You know what I mean? In my case, I filled up time when I was cocktailing. I was alone. I probably had the television on, and it was I knew exactly what I was doing, and I knew that it was my only way to relax, because I had to fill up time the rest of the day. I couldn't just sit without the alcohol and watch a movie. I needed the alcohol to justify being quiet. Wild.
Yeah.
You and I, when around the time Mom was leaving her body, you and I indulged in smoking together. I wonder, I after I had my spiritual awakening in March of 22, and I would ever come near pot, I would have a psychedelic episode, which was good and bad. It made for incredible ascension experiences, which I know is why people use psychedelics. It showed me where my brain could go then without substance, which was, the most incredible thing in the world. But it was happening in conjunction with these very traumatic things, as we said. Because I remember you would get very peaceful. Was I peaceful with you, or was I having a psychedelic episode?
You were both. You had, because it was not just a one isolated time. There were times where you would feel really energizing, having this psychedelic experience. I mean, it wasn't a lot either. It was like very little, but it would just really just rocket you to outer space, where you were having like really interesting experiences, ideas, thoughts. Like I remember us just constantly writing in this yellow pad of all these things, and it was really incredible.
Go ahead,
But then
share
there
it.
were other times where-
Share the one-liner we came up with.
Wait.
Alchemind.
Oh yeah, Alchemind. Alchemind was the greatest, and it still is. And I think we need to act on that. Alchemind is the ability to is like how do I word it? A categorization of marijuana strains and combinations to help you connect with what you need to connect with, whether it's relaxation, whether you're processing your brain, your trauma, your experiences, your memories, just a combination of cannabis strains, and to help you break through that block.
Yeah. Yeah, and I never needed a lot to have a psychedelic episode. But I didn't know I was having psychedelic episodes until I had a number of them. And that's,
they are fun. I mean, I've had them too. Again, there's like different levels. There's when I partake in using cannabis and I am having in a psychedelic experience, I am just solely into the cannabis. I am in a meditative state. I am only focused on what is being shown to me, and it's incredible. And then there's other times where, I'm partaking cannabis and I'm just going throughout my day and I'm not really tuned into that part of it. So it doesn't always present itself in that way. And I'm more functional and, whatever I'm doing, cleaning or gardening or whatever. It just helps my body and mind. And it is still very profound, but not as much of a psychedelic trip.
Yeah, I do it now without substance, which I think was my guide's purpose for me. Because now when I ascend and have experiences with my intuition or other dimensions, or and the nice part about it is there's a lot of people having similar experiences, so I don't feel nearly alone in my intuition anymore. Spirituality and intuition, especially coming out of trauma or living with trauma, these minds are doing some pretty incredible things.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I
I
can.
have an idea, but I just want
So do I, but I wanted you to go first.
Oh, okay. Well, my idea on it is I feel that people who have experienced extreme trauma they're heightened to pick up on things easier. I mean, not easier, but it just comes because they're coming from such a heightened state of, if you're in the throes of your experience, whatever that is, in order to survive it, you have to be at level 10 all the time. You have to be aware because you don't know what's going to happen throughout your day. Even if it's nothing, your body feels like you're in danger. I feel like coming out of that doesn't necessarily go away, but it can be used in different manners now. It's kind of like a superpower. You can kind of really be aware of everything without even knowing the situation. You're going into it more intuitive.
What are your superpowers?
I can't tell you. They're my superpowers.
I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. I feel the same way about wanting to. I have had unbelievable experience, sober as, and that's why I had to learn the lessons with alcohol and substance and sugar, caffeine, all of it. I think I told you I can sedate off a bag of Swedish fish, which is my standard joke. My superpowers are claircognizance, clairaudience. The other clairs I have had experiences with, and I shy away. I shy away from mediumship. I shy away from other types of things I just choose not to develop them. I'm more in a development stage based on what I'm comfortable with. I'm comfortable with channeling. I'm comfortable with energy alchemy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the energy alchemy thing, I've been an alchemist for years, but I told you recently, I was always absorbing the energy of others, and I couldn't, because of what I was going through, I couldn't distinguish them from self. And of late, I've been able to do that. And I told you, and I'll share with our 6.2 listeners, I'll share with you the situation I had where I was having a procedure done with a man. I was in a salon, okay? And we have a good relationship. He left me to another woman had come in, and he left me to handle her. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in the chair, and I start to feel a little tweak of jealousy, and then I feel a little bit insecure, and then I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That's just not my nature. I have a very secure nature, thank God and Buddha and everybody else. Carl Jung. Let me thank everybody. Carl Jung. So all of a sudden, I'm like, I am picking up this woman's demeanor. You know what I mean? And I started to pay attention because she started to talk very softly to him, which was fine. Whatever you want to do. And I had made what I thought was, just a gesture to say hello in a funny sort of way. And I got feedback on that gesture. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But I left there going, okay, got it. 56 years old, been doing this all my life, finally can distinguish myself from picking up on somebody else's feelings, emotions, thoughts. Thoughts are new. Telepathy's new. But I watch things on remote viewing. I watch things on dimensions up through the 7th. And it's horrible because it's more comfortable than the 3rd dimension for me. Meaning the human experience.
Right.
Which speaks to trauma again because of what we experience. I think it stems from the 3rd dimension, where is the human experience, where you need to master suffering. And so many people can't and don't, and my heart bleeds for them. But once you get once you can process a certain amount of suffering and continue to elevate it, I mean, that's why we're here. Does that make sense?
It does, and I agree. Well said. I agree.
Yeah, and I'm not afraid. You and I talk about Mayim Bialik and Jonathan Cohen. They're doing a bang up job combining science and spirituality. She's a neuroscientist.
Yes, I agree.
And
yes,
they are, I mean, wow.
It's really exciting. I'm so happy that she's the one that's doing it.
She being the operative word. No offense, Jonathan. But Jonathan has such good anima,
Yeah.
His anima is on point. And that's, I realized I cut you off and you were getting fired up, so go.
It's just really exciting that it's finally being acknowledged, explored, not just in the sense of what it is, but also in a scientific sense. And it's putting some concreteness onto the spirituality of what is happening. And I think that's important because it takes the woo out of it. It's like, no, there's more to this than just whatever you think it is.
Yes. Deepak Chopra admitted to other planets having he explained it, and I'm not going to explain it, but other planets having, essentially the human experience.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's very enjoyable to listen to these people really explain their experiences with it and their research behind it.
Yep.
And it's an incredible time.
And saying science is the problem. and
yeah, and breaking out of the conformity of it and not being afraid to challenge the science.
And finally a man or men that are not intimidated by women and that are embracing the harmony and the balance between our energies. I mean, her energy, she's got great energy. I haven't heard her swear once, though. A little disappointed there. I'll take care of that. I'll swear. Yeah, and I went down a rabbit hole with a few things of theirs. I don't want to necessarily go there today. I actually want to go back to trauma. What's a good time check? 22. All right, so maybe you can help me not go into a third episode about this, but if we have to, we have to. With dissociative moms, I'm picking on moms because we're moms. I've noticed that in my relationship with my sons, which is my most important relationships in my life, I don't do it anymore with anybody else because I don't maintain relationships with people that cause me to dissociate. But within dissociation, I'm looking for your amen on this. There's cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, I was waiting. I thought there was more the way you said it.
I was going to do one at a time. So cognitive dissonance, which is like grass is not green, the sky isn't blue.
Mm-hmm.
And manipulative people can explain away things. So it increases our cognitive dissonance. That's what I mean by you end up thinking the sky isn't green, the grass. Sky. Do you realize in life how much I misspeak? I rewatch my podcast. I misspeak all the time. And I'm now that I did it talking to you, talking about cognitive dissonance. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Then that's actually really interesting. I just think my brain was susceptible to what could be explained away. And that's also tied to being autistic. Would you agree?
I would agree. Yes.
All right. And then there's the lovely confabulation, where you unintentionally recall false or distorted memories and believe those to be accurate. And that's very plaguing when it comes to memories. Yes.
I think that's really a big part of it, because what we remember, in my mind, is largely based off of what we're feeling in the moment. And I don't think we always connect those two.
Yes. And for me, the ring and ding was that it still goes on with the people I love who I went through it with.
Yeah.
And which is very different from still dissociate. Like, I can still dissociate with, I think I mentioned several weeks ago, I had a situation, I met a stranger, and I had said something. She asked for my honesty about something. I gave it to her, and then it upset her, and I dissociated because I did not want to hurt this woman's feelings. So it's a matter of having CPTSD and really learning the grooves. Actually, now that I am in this, maybe we should start a third episode, because not make this one.
I'll stop and then we'll start again.
Okay. Yeah, why don't we make a liar of me and go into a third episode on these things? You all right? Shell?
You're asking me? Yeah, I'm here. I'm good.
Yes, I'm asking you. Yes. All right, so we'll stop it. Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. J-Ma.